Obviously been quite a ride for tech so far this year, from the high highs with the AI hype driving Nvidia shares up over 80% to low lows like weakening EV demand driving Tesla down almost 30% and down in the pre-market trade today as well, 5% at the moment here. We're going to go into the good, bad, and ugly of the tech sector in Q1 with our very own Dan Howley. Dan, a lot of movement in your beat always.
Yeah, it's a good time to write about tech always. And let's just go over some of the good stuff before we get into the bad and then the ugly. The good, kick things off. Nvidia obviously had another whopper of a quarter. They had an announcement from their GTC event where they launched their Blackwell GPU architecture. They saw year-to-date shares up 89% over the last 12 months, up 226%. We also had Intel. They got some of the money from the CHIPS Act, finally $8.5 billion, plus some loans in there that they're able to take advantage of. We also saw Apple, in a good way, kill its electric car project. That was a decade in the making, seemed to not really be going anywhere. This will allow them to focus more on AI, which is something that, according to Wall Street, or according to, I guess, the perception, they're severely lacking. And then finally, we had Meta. They announced that they're going to be providing a quarterly dividend of 50 cents per share and authorized additional share buybacks of $50 billion. That sent the stock skyrocketing 38% year-to-date, 131% over the last 12 months. Now let's get to the fun stuff. This is the bad and the ugly. The bad, let's kick things off with the FTC. They announced an inquiry into Alphabet, Amazon, and Microsoft over investments in AI with Anthropic and OpenAI. Obviously, the FTC trying to make sure that no one firm dominates the still nascent generative AI space. The Digital Markets Act over in the EU, that has the European Commission looking into whether Apple, Google, and Meta are actually complying with that law that basically ensures that big tech players don't dominate their markets. We also had Google with a terrible debut of their Gemini generative image software. The big image that went out there was a picture.
Missed the mark.
Yeah, missed the mark is what they said. Multicultural Nazis are not a good thing that you want to post on the internet, and that's what ended up happening with Gemini. And then obviously we have the TikTok ban that Congress is trying to get through. And then finally, let's go over some of the very ugly stuff. The first is this is heinous. We have the DOJ's antitrust fight against Apple, basically saying that they try to block out competition, which harms consumers. We have Elon Musk's lawsuit against OpenAI, saying that they've abandoned their original mission for creating AI that benefits humanity in favor of profits. We have Intel. Their earnings fell well short, which really just blasted them as far as their share price goes. Generally, we've seen a lot of tech layoffs continue, and then this EV demand slowdown that we're seeing, where people just aren't taking up EVs as fast as anybody really thought that they would or wanted to. And so that's really hurting things. We see that with Tesla coming in with their announcement. So, I mean, look, it's been a wild quarter. I think that the main story, the main takeaway is still Nvidia. They're the big leaders. But look, Apple getting play all over the place as they usually do in both the good and bad side.
Yeah, and I've heard their own offerings, competitors to OpenAI, really gaining traction in the marketplace and also in some of these benchmark tests.